Hello everybody, I'm Henk Bredel. I'm from a company called IST. We used to be known as IST many years ago, and then we became PowerTech System Integrators, and we were carrying that name for quite a few years, and we are returning back to our roots, one could say. This is only for an internal audience. I must also disclaim, we've just come into the EOH fold, so we're very excited about that, and I think there are many opportunities for us to learn more about what other EOH operations are doing, so that we can look for synergies, and I believe there are many. Right, so I've been with the company, as I said, for quite a few years, and I've been involved in the different areas of the business, and there are three main areas of business within IST, and each one of them has got something related to IoT that I'm going to touch on. I am also going to mention a fourth item, and that is an area where we are experimenting a bit, doing some prototyping and some development, and looking for new opportunities in the market. Feel free to stop me at any point in time. Okay, so we've been doing mobility solutions for quite some time, and we see this as an extremely important area to support digitization in operations of our customers. And we do this mostly with third-party products, and we tend to focus mostly on field operations. So some of the largest product projects that we've done in this area is typically for Eskom South Africa, where they had about 5,000 guys in the field, and these were the things that we needed to help them with. It's about utilization, it's about efficiencies, it's about reducing costs. We aim to address all of them. And then in Netstar, also a customer of ours, and you find slight variances in terms of the things that they're looking for. For them it was also utilization, travel cost, but for them also the risk of delayed response. Having a quicker response depends on accurate information. So from the point you do an installation on a vehicle, and having correct information from that point on, upstream, becomes quite important. So it's not only about the chopper flying after the stolen vehicles, it's also about what happens upstream, where all that information comes from, and there the solutions that we do in the mobility space play a very important role in terms of digitization. The Automobile Association there is slightly different. There it is actually about getting to the lady that is stranded next to the road as quickly as what you can. So there are a different set of business problems that we focused on there. As I indicated, we do those with third-party solutions. We act as a value-added reseller typically on these solutions, but we focus on being the systems integrator. And we then focus on bringing business benefit, because that's really what it's about. You know, for instance, at the case of Eskom, we had tremendous results there. I don't think because we were so great, I think it's because they had so many real problems that we did very basic things there, and it made a huge difference. But we have to be critical towards our results, because it's only a first step, and I think it was said a little bit earlier on. When we digitize, we're actually putting in data gathering infrastructure. We're bringing in the information, we're looking at it, and we're trying to understand it, and we're using it to manage. So that's really a key part of it's a first step only. The next step that we need to get to is, what do we do to apply machine learning to that? How do we become more preventive in terms of the business benefit that we bring? You know, it's great to see these huge levels of cost reductions and reductions in overtime and service levels going up, but you know, that's very, very quickly becomes achieved, and then the question is asked, well, what else can we do? So the solutions that we do, as I said, are mostly third-party products that we partner with, and we also need to partner with other organizations within EOH. So David mentioned a couple of things where some of their platforms have become mobile ready, and we also have platform needs for some of our solutions, and I firmly believe that our mobility capability, mobile solution capability, will only come to its true right if we cooperate with guys like you and within a larger group to bring similar solutions like these on shared platforms. So that's definitely something that we should look at. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one was energy management. We've done this for many years, and it started off being just metering, right? You meter to know what your consumptions are, and it's just profiles, or you may be a utility and you've got huge losses. So different people measure for different purposes, and we've been in that business for quite some time, and we've developed our own software. So here it's not third party anymore, it's our own in-house software that we've developed, and it's called EC Win. The customers that we serve are the ones I've got there at the top. Those are the typical large power users. They want to know where the energy is going. So it's activity-based costing and a need to understand what's going on to optimize. Now more and more these operations are distributed, and we need to look at smarter devices that are IoT enabled. No longer your traditional meters with a modem. Things are changing. We need to now communicate more between APNs. Everything is not so secure and walled as in the past. So there we're doing quite a bit of work to become more open. Then also in the case of the utilities, also once again metering. There we've developed our solutions to do smart metering, but we need to go further. We need to utilize open platforms for these things on which we can do trading insofar as the legislative environment allows us to do that. We need to make sure that we provide new ways for people to exchange value related to energy savings around it, consumption and the management thereof. So that is also an area of growth for us in our business, but we see that a new platform strategy is required for us to take this to the next level, and then bringing in machine learning and analytics to provide more value from all this huge amounts of data to our customers that we're not yet doing. All right. As I said, our own in-house products and some of the things that we aim to do there. Okay, the third area of our business is around network management. Because of the way that utilities operate, and our customers here have mostly been utilities, they're very closed, and they've got sometimes conservative in their approach, and they need to make sure that everything is secure and not falling over or open to threats from the outside. And we found that this is changing. As the market is changing. So previously where we did protection, automation and control projects for our customers, it tended to be within private telecommunication networks owned by our customers. But now with the introduction of IPPs coming on board, you find that these things are no longer only applicable to those utilities and those large municipalities. These guys also have a need for information, and they need that information needs to be managed with the same rigor and controls, but it requires to be far more open, and it needs to support business processes more end-to-end over many more domains than what we found within the utility space before. So we've developed products along with and with GE and for ourselves, and an area where we see some of this development taking place that is very exciting for us is in the substation gateway. So there we've got very specific ways in terms of managing this information to make people that look at the information know exactly what the status of that infrastructure is and what it's doing and not doing, and bringing that information up such as for the IPPs and their OEMs that they partner with for things like wind farms and some of these other distributed power generation plants. And for them, it's about having visibility throughout their organization of what's happening in each and every substation at their power plants. So that is now opening up that information that was previously very much protected, traversing the internet and being shared over wider platforms for analytics and management purposes. All right. And then we're doing some experimentation and some development, and we specifically decided to look at areas where we can combine these three areas that we're involved in, because we've got customer knowledge and experience in these areas, and we'd be in a strong position to solve more business challenges that our customers have by combining and seeing these things converge. So in the area of grid monitoring, there is a challenge in that in the middle of the grid you have very limited telemetry and monitoring of what's happening. Right at the end you've got the meters, and we're involved in that, and right on the substation side you've got the limited large substations with all the protection, automation and control, but in the middle you don't know what's going on, and for that we need more information, more visibility and tracking. So there we working to develop sensors and monitors that will actually allow us to track and manage information to serve 3 different areas of challenges that our customers are experiencing. First of all, operations. Information that comes in about outages, over, under voltages, sags and all the rest of it can be fired off to the network operations teams within the utility, as well as their contractors and service providers. That same information has energy information, same data has energy information locked up in there. We need to use that for balancing. So we use that from our metering solutions, opening that up, and there we see our previous traditional AMR and AMI systems becoming open and allowing for information to be shared on platforms. And if you've got consumption information brokerages, you'd be able to do far more in terms of helping these utilities reduce their losses, manage their networks in terms of energy balancing to reduce their losses and to also give them early warning of where things are going wrong. All right, and then also the assets. Goodness me, in East Africa especially, we've now got interest to do our some pilot projects over there. The guys are losing a lot of assets due to vandalism, overloading, and things changing in the field without people really being aware of these changes. So you find your equipment out there in the field that's not limited, suffering and then being overloaded and it blows up, or it gets cut down and vandalized. You know, there's a lack of information. These things have traditionally been considered to be consumables. The transformer on the pole or in your curbside mini substation. But when you consider the collective value of these asset sets, it becomes a very big cost driver in the operation of the utility, and that is where we want to add more value. Now, we are not traditionally a manufacturer of devices like the little thing that you saw up there, but we believe we can have a device in the field that's very, very cost competitive to what is available out there, not to remain in that part of the market, but to challenge the rest of the market. So when cheaper alternative products do come around, you know, we integrate to those and, you know, let them rather carry on with the actual measurement. But we need a footprint to start off with to serve various parts of the organization with information from the same data sets. And that is what we're trying to do here. So that will become an IoT solution. Sorry, I went over 2 minutes. Okay, and the last one is just to get to information, we need to think a little bit more horizontally instead of vertically, and we've partnered up with a company called Fraxis that allows us to virtualize information because we can't afford to remain a stovepipe. So the information that we bring up is just a vertical stovepipe. We need to extract information from various other systems and make business objects in a virtualized manner that we're able to process in memory and with flexible pre-configured microservices, which also includes machine learning. So we're doing some experimentation and prototypes in that area also, but we don't have anything commercial running here at this point yet. So that's me. Sorry for the rush. Okay. And I assume these slides will be shared afterwards. Okay, good.